I can't fucking. Who's the
Oh,
old
bro.
man now, bitch?
Yeah, I mean, still you. I just had an old man moment.
All right. I forgot to make sure I had enough storage on my fucking laptop. I gotta buy a new one.
I
I
was
don't
gonna
talk.
say, I was gonna say, boomers don't know what that is, bro.
I don't talk bad about my laptop because it's done so good for me. But I I know that I'm in need of a new one, man. Like
Yeah,
it's just a storage problem. Like I have to always like dump, and everything I have on there it's stuff that I need. Like I've basically stripped down the MacBook down to GarageBand, Chrome.
yeah.
Oh,
So when you tell a boomer that their laptop doesn't have enough memory, and they're like, "Well, tell it not to forget next time."
no, I never heard that, and I don't want to hear
I just came up with it on the fly.
it. Oh,
Proficient jokes in this bitch.
oh my God, you're the dad joke king right now.
Shit, bro. Let me pop a couple loud. Where my ladies at?
Ooh, just reel it out. Just reel it out. Oh, well, let's get into it, and I don't know. We're gonna stumble through this one. Hey, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Proficient Fans. My name is CB, and with me is
To a man, Clay Haggard.
To a man. You shouldn't be disappointed.
Hey,
Shouldn't be disappointed at all.
shout out CB Watkins for this dope ass Miami Dolphins T-shirt that
Got you,
I
fam.
for my birthday that I'm realizing I told him before we started recording. I'm like, I think our viewers are gonna think that I only own like 3 shirts. It's like I'm always in this when we record. But
Hey, you know.
I did go throw the Finns hat on though purposely.
Nice.
This is actually one Justin got me for my birthday. Shout out Justin,
Justin, Big Swan. Miss that guy.
Big Swanee.
He Tara was just like, yo, like throwaway league. And I was just like, well, when you're not competitive, I was just like, I get it. And
Yeah,
then I was gonna like if I wasn't working, I was gonna get into him a little bit more about the fact that what is the other league your throwaway league too? Because I just fucking put my nuts on his chest
oh
on that one. So
yikes, yikes.
I'm like, man, I was just like, I've never had like I came to I never had a league, no matter how bad I was, that I wasn't like I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
still I don't want to
bro.
be last.
Hey, if you've seen my record in the other league. There is quite literally there is no hope for me of even hitting 7th place. Obviously, you know why.
Right, right.
I am locked and loaded for 2021. I'm pulling a Miami Dolphins reset.
Tanking for
Tanking for
McCaffrey.
Trevor. That's
Oh no,
yeah, right.
McCaffrey's the keeper. So
I know. But but yeah, no, nonetheless, there is no hope for me at that point, but I like to think I'm at least being logical of my next move, which will be next season. But to your point, I still put up the best lineup I can every week.
oh certainly.
It's so, and granted, so you could say I'm not trying this year, but in my opinion, I'm still working the waiver wire. I'm still trying to
Mhm.
put out starters to legitimately upset and ruin some people's seasons. That's my goal. My goal is
That's all I
if you're frustrated at me, then I did my job that week, and you shouldn't have
I
lost to me.
ask Cook. Because of me, he didn't make the playoffs last year.
And because of me,
All I do.
I have all of his picks, and he won't make the playoffs this year.
Oh, he's frustrated as fuck about thinking about
He's
next year.
so mad. He's so mad. Hey, and I didn't do anything dirty to him. I honestly, and here's the thing: Calvin Ridley, number one, he was what number 4 receiver in fantasy when I traded him to him.
Hmm.
He's fallen off. Jonathan Taylor, huge week 1 and 2,
Yeah.
fell off. I mean,
Well, he's had a solid season throughout this, but I mean, like it has gradually
yeah,
been a decline.
yep. And hopefully, no one realizes it, but when Christian McCaffrey's out in week 10 because of his shoulder, guess who's picking up Mike Davis? This guy. And guess
Cook
who has
dropped
and
Le'Veon, and I picked him up.
yeah, but I have waiver priority 8. So the odds of me getting Mike Davis is 0.
Zip.
And Christian technically isn't out week 10. I'm just
No, I
Like
mean I just saw a
know
headline. I didn't
we
get to
know
read
yeah,
it today, but
he hurt his shoulder. But
dude's glass.
yeah. And then I don't know Haley. I don't know if Haley listens every week, but him and I were back and forth and trying to get a trade done today. And I told him, I was like, look, man, I was like, the only reason that we can't work together is because you have nothing of value to offer me. I go, it's not your fault. I just have a deep roster. And he goes, dude, he goes, I'm in the same boat. And he goes, no one else has running backs to trade for. You and me are both deep. And he goes, it is what it is. So Haley, I'm sorry I couldn't help you out, man, but unfortunately, that's just the way cookie crumbles. Our rosters are too good.
Yours as well. My T, she's good. She's nice. I mean, she be putting
Tara's
up points.
scary. Her team's good. I don't want to play her in the playoffs. I hope she finishes second in the league and she's on the other side of the bracket and someone upsets her. I don't really want to play her in a playoff. Because like I like my team, but I'm not as confident as I was the last 2 years. This is in my opinion, this is my weakest team. Josh Jacobs has put up some duds.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like
just went and looked at your team because I was like, why is he in first place? Was what I was trying to understand. That shit was bothering me.
That's called talent and good management. That's why I'm in first place.
Like, well, I mean, like for me, like I'm literally, I have Pat Mahomes, and I have Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
I should be sitting at first place with those two alone.
I mean, Kyler Murray, number 2 quarterback in fantasy. Derrick Henry, number 3 running back in fantasy. Josh Jacobs, number 10. DeAndre Hopkins, number 6. A.J. Brown, number 25, with an injury.
Yeah.
Out 1, 2, 3 games. I guess that's not too many. George Kittle, fucking out for the season. That has hurt me. George Kittle, I only got to use him 3 weeks.
Yeah, you did.
And I was texting Haley, I'm like, because he has Kelsey, and I was like, I wish I would have drafted Kelsey, because if I would have had Kelsey right now and not Kittle, CB, I think I'd be undefeated.
You definitely would have been like lights out. I think the only person that's outscoring me in the league is you right now by like 20 points.
I'm 6-2. Actually, sorry.
Well, I'm talking about
I'm
points.
winning this week, so I'm about to be 7-2. I think I would be at 8-1 minimum. I think I'd be 9-0 with Kelsey. That dude's putting up stupid numbers this year. Justin Jefferson, James Robinson, waiver wire, number 4 running back. What did I tell you before the season? The reason I win your league is because I work the wire better than anyone else in this league.
You definitely work it a lot more proficiently than anybody else in the league, because nobody else like
Justin Jefferson,
up as much as
James Robinson, Chase Edmonds right now, Chase Claypool. I mean, all waiver wire. Miles Gaskin. Actually, I might have drafted him.
What I was gonna say was that I feel like what I've noticed is everybody just so far, and I'm guilty of it myself, is you're like, I drafted the absolute best players out there, and there's nobody out there that's going to continue to be better. And it doesn't make sense to drop these guys because the fact that they're not going to start, because you feel that at least you drafted a starting lineup deep enough. I'm guilty of it. I know it. Like, I mean, if you, I would almost guarantee that if you went and looked through all the waiver grabs, all it is dropping a defense, dropping a kicker,
same,
and maybe a quarterback. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you have a top 3 defense, unless you have like the Steelers or you have these lights out defenses, in my opinion, those defenses are worth keeping. I'll draft a bench player to keep defense and then stream a second one. That's what I just did. I streamed Houston because my team was on bye. So I had a stream in a different league, but I had to stream Houston against Jacksonville. They sucked. Oh well. But then my starter's right back in. And other than that, though, kickers, in my opinion, expendable. Even Tucker, even Butker, these awesome kickers with high-scoring offenses. At the end of the day, man, look like Sly from the Panthers. No one drafted him. He's top 5 kicker.
And you know what I mean? I think I have him right now.
Cardinals.
I know I have him right now.
Yeah, so like they're still important. Don't get me wrong. But me having a 4th running back to be on my bench is more important than having a kicker who's going to finish the season with 15 more fantasy points.
Exactly.
Not
I mean,
relevant.
like I got the Chiefs D, which typically is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Although they only put
They've
up
given
2
up a
this
lot
week.
of points. Yeah, they've given up a lot of points. That's their harm.
You know, in that dynasty league, I carry 2 D. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. We have I think I went over this with you, man. Like we have so many spots in this league
Mm-hmm.
that I have guys that will never fucking see the light of day. They're just holding places for when I draft next season.
I hear you.
But I mean, Patriots D, they're blowing balls for me right now, but it doesn't matter. I already won this week. And then I took the Buccaneers defense. I don't know why. I think I think I took them because of Tom Brady.
That's
and
actually that's who I sat. I streamed Houston instead of Tampa this week and thank God I did because Breeze put his balls all the way down Brady's throat. Not mad.
Dude, he just pulled out the rope on that guy.
38-3. Jameis Winston had a higher QBR than Tom Brady. So did Taysom Hill. All in one game.
The game got boring real quick. Unless you're John
Rosado. He's over there just swinging his dick around. Who dat?
Yeah.
Who dat?
Right. Fucking doing the helicopter.
That's awesome.
We're flying, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, since we're in fantasy, how'd you do this week? I mean, like, are 3-0,
well,
2-1?
No, 1-3. Dude, I'm a 1-3 almost every week. I mean, the other league, that's pretty much a guaranteed loss every week because I've traded away. I've literally traded away 5 players, and I've had 3 of them on the IR. So that's an entire roster, almost.
Wow.
That's 8 players that I've started with that I no longer can use. Granted, Chubb is supposed to be back week 10. So Chubb being back, but Barkley gone. Cortland Sutton gone. Stephon Diggs traded him away. Calvin Ridley traded him away. Kenyon Drake traded him away. Jonathan Taylor traded him away. James Robinson traded him away. But you don't want to know my draft picks, son. You don't even want to know my draft picks. I'm angry about the
fucking draft picks.
You don't even want to know. Everyone's going to be angry.
Well, I have to bank on because I mean I'm telling you my keepers next year. It's gonna be 2 and it's gonna be DK, and
I know Adam was like, "Bro, you drafting Tua next year?" I'm like, "CB's keeping that motherfucker. I already know he is."
All day, dude. Like, come on, man. The beautiful thing about drafting Tua, doing a podcast with you, and having these conversations every week is the fact that I can you give me the insight with the Dolphins organization, and I'm actually know more about the Dolphins than I would have ever known before. Had we not have this podcast, or had you not been a Dolphins fan, there's a very good chance A, I might not have ever drafted Tua.
Yeah.
B, even if I did draft Tua, he might not have been my keeper next year.
You wouldn't have drafted him.
I 100%. Well,
you wouldn't have drafted him because you would have still been salty that Detroit didn't draft him. And without me being a fan, you would have been like, "Fuck that dude."
No, I probably would have drafted him I would have drafted him just because I've been like, well, at least one of my teams should win.
Well, we already know the players you draft. You only draft players that I like. So, and it's kind of funny how they're both your keepers. Oh, it's coincidence. So I was saving this for the pod, CB. Yeah, let's talk. All these draft picks that I have. Okay. You could probably use an extra one for Tua. What do you think?
Oh, so you want Tua that bad, huh?
I really just wanted to see how thirsty you were for draft picks, but we can talk later.
I'm like, you want to talk business? Let's talk some business.
I wanted to hear you, Mr. Burns, it being like, "Ooh, excellent."
I've played right into my plans. Exactly. Somebody hit me up. I can't remember who it was. That tried to get fucking DK off me. I'm like, yo, my man. I'm like, he's a top receiver. He's sitting in. I got him forever. He's my guy.
DK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, cause I was just like, the way I look at it is I can always in the first 3 rounds draft running backs. You know what I'm saying? So All right, now I'm going to be running back deep. I got a number one receiver that's going to be like we spoke about 2 weeks ago, I believe, that he's going to be a top receiver
Mhm.
until Russell
Oh,
Wilson retires.
and yeah, I completely agree. Unless injuries, that's the only thing that will hold
Exactly.
DK back from being
He
a,
better,
what would you say, top 8 receiver
yeah.
in fantasy every year.
What I'm thinking is he better start doing what Russell Wilson does, and that stole from LeBron James, and just spending that $1 million
Yeah.
a year on his fucking body.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
I'm looking at your roster. Yeah, so you got DK at 13 and Tua at 12. That's just awesome. So obviously I'm keeping Chubb. Chubb
yeah,
will be my 8th round keeper next year.
okay,
More than appropriate. I don't think I'm keeping anyone else. The only other one I have that could potentially be a keeper, I have Jalen Rager, who was my 15th pick last year,
okay,
but I don't trust the Eagles. I literally probably won't keep him. I even had Judy. Adam gave me Jared Judy, who would have been my 13th round next year. I don't trust him either. I don't trust Drew Lock. And Judy hasn't shown me enough yet. Granted, it's his rookie year. I get it. But he hasn't shown me enough yet to where I think he's even worth keeping. I would honestly rather. So here's my thought. I don't have an 11th, 12th, or 13th round pick next year because I've duplicated everything before.
yeah.
I think with my 14th and 15th, I'm not going to save them for kicker defense. My team's going to be deep. I'm going to have that shit before the 10th round because I have so many picks. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is my 14th and 15th rounds, they're just going to be young rookies who potentially could break out.
Certainly.
Because I'm going to be so deep with talent, I don't think those picks, it's purely depth. It's purely keeper depth. Roll the dice, flip a coin. Let's see what happens.
I'm not concerned about about you giving me information on this one. Do you think because of the fact that I've already told you my
Honestly,
keeper.
we'll also forget by next year, anyways.
Fucking steel trap. It's a fantasy football, dude. I want to win. Like, I forget what my wife I forget what my wife tells me, but I remember fantasy football shit.
Siri,
So
remind months to listen to episode 109 to listen to Clay's draft analysis on 2021.
I'm telling you, man.
You know what she's gonna go? Bing. I do not understand the request.
No, Siri's a bitch.
What were you gonna say?
No, Trevor Lawrence, man. I feel like I think in the draft next year, or for fantasy football, football,
China.
Goodbye, Trump.
So glad he's gone.
Oh God, that was my sport this week.
No kidding.
But so I feel like when it comes to next year's draft, Justin Fields will get drafted in fantasy before Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, he's going to the Lions, so my plan is to pick up Fields and then trade you Fields as a Lion for Tua.
Ooh, look at you! You better draft him real low.
Well, hopefully, right now you guys are. Yeah, right. Right now you guys are slated to draft a wide receiver again.
Oh, you see, I thought I saw a defensive end. So
I mean, there's so many mocks out there, but
it's.
But continue. I'm sorry. I feel like I cut you
No,
off.
I was just thinking. Do you think Trevor Lawrence will fall deep, like where you could pick him up, like I did with Tua?
Fantasy, right?
Fantasy football. Yeah. Not real draft. I'm not ready for that conversation.
I don't think. I mean, dude, even Burrow. I don't even think Burrow got drafted.
Really?
Let me. I'm gonna check.
Somebody took Burrow. I would have taken Burrow before Tua even.
So you took Tua 3 picks before Burrow was taken. Justin took Burrow. Now, if you probably don't recall, you were a little loosey-goosey during that draft this year.
I was fucked up.
And I just remember, yeah, you were fucked up, bro.
We're not even gonna fucking like work around it. No, I'm not gonna poppy dance around that motherfucker.
First of all, let people know you were fucked up because these draft parties are fucking so much fun. I love these.
Hey, let's be honest.
But no,
I was fucked up and I made a great draft.
You took Tua in the 13th round, and then it was Marvin Jones, Hayden Hurst, and then Justin took Joe Burrow. Yep. And those were the last 2 quarterbacks drafted.
You know why? I think I can kind of get into my mindset, having to think back. I got a little whiskey in me, so I'm trying to remember like what my
You're like,
mindset might have been back then. Um, the big thing I could think of is the fact that I like the situation in Miami better than I did Cincinnati. That's the only
Mhm.
reason why I think I would have taken
I mean,
the reason
dude,
why I
I'll
took.
be honest. I think Burrow has, and I still told you after week one, I didn't see enough to be impressed.
See, I
I
like Burrow, man.
I know you do, and I guess what I'm saying is, now 9 weeks into the season, I've seen enough from Burrow to know he will be their starter moving forward. Like
Oh
there
yeah,
is no
yeah.
question mark. They don't need to draft a QB. They found a franchise quarterback. How good will he be? We don't know. I mean, we've seen people like, now granted, I'm not saying he is this player, but like Lamar Jackson, great
hmm
rookie year. Look at his drop off. Look at who else did I just have in my head? Um Shoot. Someone, oh man, oh, Baker Mayfield. Pretty
Mm.
good rookie year. Huge fall off.
But I
So
think the Baker. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to
unless
stick up for
unless
Baker too
unless you're
hard.
purely just saying that Burrow has an it factor, you
I
know?
believe. I believe. I watched that chant today. I got in a chant mood this weekend. To go off topic real quick, this morning, for whatever reason, I thought of I believe. So
I believe that we
I
will
put the
win.
sound bar on. I
Win.
fucking went and did that. Fucking had that. I watched a couple different versions of that. Like I watched the United States one, and then I watched Utah, Johnny Utah, and then I went to the Akua. Is that what it's called? New Zealand Black does it before their rugby
Talking about
games.
the Haka?
Haka. Thank you. So I watched that a different way. Shit got me so hyped, man. Like I was in this fucking whole fucking hype video thing. I'm getting so hyped. Tears are running down my face. I'm not crying. I'm just so fucking hyped with nothing to do with that fucking energy. Tears are just running down my face. My kids are like, Dad, hey, da da da. I'm like, what you want? What you want? I was fucking ready to go. Oh man. But I don't know where that was supposed to go, but like I just remembered I got hyped as fuck. Oh, you said you believe. But what were we talking about?
We're talking about Joe Burrow. So
Oh,
Joe
Joe Burrow.
Burrow, I'm going to tell you the quarterbacks right now from a fantasy perspective that are playing better than Joe Burrow.
Okay, fantasy is one thing. I
Right.
was talking just quarterback. So,
Sure. But I mean,
but
like,
I'm with you.
unless
I'm with you.
I've never watched a Bengals game beginning to end until the Dolphins beat them here 4 weeks coming. So until then, I can't sit here and say I've watched all of Burrow's game and I'm seeing intangibles. Like I'm not,
Sure.
I can't see that. So what I'm going off of are highlights, the small tidbits of Bengals games that I've seen in stats.
Yeah.
So in order, Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. I would say none of those are surprises at all.
All right.
Those guys should be there. Then you got Justin Herbert.
Hey,
Actually,
I
I'm
got him in the dynasty league.
Brady,
Gang, gang.
and you got to remember Herbert missed the first, was it week? I think he
Mm-hmm.
came in week 2. So he's doing this without a week. He's ahead of Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Tannehill, and then there's Joe Burrow, just ahead of Drew Brees and Lamar Jackson. So Burrow's still doing good there. Now,
Yeah.
from a statistical standpoint, why are these not? I want like full numbers. Weird.
You're welcome.
Apparently I should have used Yahoo and not Sleeper. But so, I guess, oh, here we go. I guess I could do it this way. So we're talking 36 pass attempts, 61 pass attempts, 44, 36, 30, 39, 47, 37. I mean, the dude's chucking the ball up enough. He's got 3
Yeah.
games with no touchdowns, 5 games with touchdowns. He's rushed in for 3 of them. I mean, I'm not mad with what the guy's doing. He's
Right.
also playing with a shitty Bengals team.
a terrible fucking team. Jeez,
So you can't discredit him for the team that he's on. Granted, AJ Green, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I mean, he's got enough weapons. Joe Mixon, let alone. I feel like he's got weapons around him. The offensive
But
line
he
is
did lose
atrocious.
Joe Mixon for like 1 week, I believe, maybe.
Couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe a couple.
Because you and I both have him in different leagues. Yeah, so Mixon's been out. Granted, I picked up Giovanni Bernard, lights out. So I was pumped about that. Yeah, I was pumped about that. Put up like 20-some points 1 week.
Yeah, you did.
So
I dropped him the next week, but I mean, like, it was great to have him for that 1 week.
I think I kept him for 2 weeks, but yeah, I kept him as a handcuff in my dynasty. But no, I guess, so point I'm getting at, I won't sit here and say Joe Burrow's bad. I don't think that by any means. All I'm saying is I still haven't seen anything from him that says, oh shit, like that guy's going to be problems. I think you got
Justin's. Go ahead. Well, I was gonna say you got Justin's team up right now, and not to try and give him any insight of what he should do, but what's that team look like, and should that be a keeper at the fucking like last draft pick of the fucking draft?
Oh, you're talking about his Yahoo League.
Isn't that what he had?
So I was looking at the draft board. I was looking at this.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, I was looking at the draft board. So I don't know who's on his current roster. I'm assuming he probably still has Burrow. And
that's because he took him in the other league.
He's got Tyler Lockett in the 6th round. So 5th round keeper Tyler Lockett wouldn't be the worst decision ever. I think he said he's thinking about keeping Montgomery in the 6th. So that would be Lockett in the 5th, Montgomery in the 6th. Montgomery's a running back 1. His workload is super big, so I don't think I would blame him for keeping Montgomery there. But me, after owning him the last 2 years, this year and last year, in different leagues, but after being a Montgomery owner now multiple years in a row, dude's mediocre.